Welcome back to Big 12 Live, Built for Tough. Well, at the top of the show, we talked about Baylor's big win in Fort Worth against TCU. After the game, there was an interesting exchange between the two coaches, Art Briles and Gary Patterson. Photographer Chris Fitzpatrick captured this right after the game.
Everything on the field goes back off. Shake it off. Huge shake it. Everything on the field goes back off. Shake it off. Huge shake it.
Now, Gary Patterson has had some interesting confrontations with coaches over the years. I can remember Mike Leach at Texas Tech. There's been some over at SMU. David, tell me what this is all about. What are they talking about?
Well, it mostly comes back to that Ahmad Dixon hit we showed earlier today. Dixon laid into Trevone Boykin, who obviously Gary Patterson feels pretty strongly about. He's gone through a lot with him. You can see that hit here. And so, essentially, Ahmad Dixon, after this hit, was ejected, didn't leave the sidelines, was delayed a little bit. I think Patterson, not happy that Briles didn't address the hit. You can see him yelling here. It seemed like Briles had stepped onto the field. After the game, Gary Patterson said that he didn't take too kindly to Briles saying anything to Patterson when he should have been addressing Dixon. And then Dixon, once he did leave the field later in the game, was blowing kisses to the crowd and smiling and laughing. And TCU's coaches relayed that down. You can see that video of Dixon there. TCU's coaches from the booth relayed that down to Patterson. Patterson essentially just didn't believe that Art Briles was taking player safety seriously, and essentially sort of went a little postal on in the post-game interview. Basically, he never used Briles by name, which I found interesting, but he did infer that Baylor was classless. Talked about how TCU outplayed Baylor in this game, should have won that game, and I think his exact quote was, if that's what class is, that's not what we want to be. And so Patterson obviously angry, and I think it's an issue that does stem from player safety. What did you guys think?
Well, before we do that, let's hear what Art Briles had to say about it afterwards.
You know, Patterson, that exchange there in the game, right on?
No, I just told him these kids did a great job, and good luck, for the rest of the year in their recruiting. Just shows we're a tough football team. That's what you want. I mean, you want to be in a room full of fighters and believers, and that's what we have. I mean, these guys, if you say it's not going to happen, we'll find a way to make it happen. I mean, we have tough players, and I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. I think after maybe the Texas Tech game or something. But we have guys. We have a tough football team, and they've done a great job. And that's why they've done the things they've done this year. And we're having to find different ways to do it. Because of some things that have happened to us throughout the season.
So Art Briles putting a classy face on this one afterwards to the media at the podium. So, Tony, you thought that the Dixon hit wasn't that bad, really.
Well, the emotions are running high after the game. I've been on that podium a few times, and sometimes you say things in the heat of the moment that maybe you might regret. Coach Patterson is a guy that coaches with emotion. Everything he does is with emotion. But no, I think when a guy leaves his feet, Ahmad Dixon was upright. I don't know what else he's supposed to do other than let the guy hit the ground. He doesn't know it's an uncatchable ball. Even though I'm a quarterback, I'm not a big fan of being overly safe. I don't know what else Ahmad Dixon was supposed to do, and now he has to sit a half of a really important football game next week.
Matt, you've been around Gary Patterson for many years. What's your take on tonight?
Well, my take is that I understand that he's upset. He lost the game. But the coaches are radioing down to him about Ahmad Dixon blowing kisses. At that point, who cares? He's been ejected from the game. And so he's insinuating that Art Briles should then go over, leave the sideline, and go address the player who's blowing kisses. My only thought is, coach your own sideline. Then you can worry about the other stuff later, but don't be, this thought of your coaches making you aware of a guy blowing kisses, that's all outside of the game at that point. So some of this stuff's just fluff. And when you lose, you just have to say, we get beat, and you move on. And you don't call somebody classless. I just thought it was, it just made him look bad.
That's a great point. That's not part of your game plan to have to police the sidelines in that instance. And the only classless act was Ahmad Dixon's lack of ability to leave the field in an orderly manner.
I know Patterson thought he should have won the game, but 4 turnovers will do you in. Baylor, by the way, 292 yards, under their normal nation-leading 662 yards of offense in this game. Matt, did it surprise you that TCU's good defense, and they got a lot of guys on that side of the ball that are probably going to play on Sundays, specifically on the defensive line, that they were able to do this against Baylor's offense?
I wasn't completely surprised because I have so much respect for that TCU secondary. And I just think Antoine Goodley's a great receiver, and when he can't get any separation, and all of those defensive backs played really well. So no, I wasn't shocked. I thought they played a great game defensively, and Baylor had to gut it out and depend on their defense.
All right, let's take a break. Coming up next on Big 12.